Um,
But so
had
I
you,
also would have been placed in Houston,
oh,
and I think yeah. So when I got in, they chose Houston for me, that same high school district. And I think even though I understand what they were going for, that also kind of negatively impacted my decision because I was afraid of reverting back to my, because I went from Houston to Penn, so I obviously went across the country to
yeah.
go to a school that I worked really hard to get into. And I was split between feeling really compelled to give back to the place where I came from, but at the same time it felt like right out of college too early to do that. And I was a little nervous about going back to the high school system that I went to school in right after college.
Yeah. What made you nervous about that?
What made me nervous about it? If I'm honest, I guess social stigma.
Yeah.
Like, why did I go off to Penn if I was just going to come back and teach in the same community?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Especially because, my parents sacrificed a lot for me to go there too, even though it wouldn't have been a lesser thing to do it. People just would have probably thought of that, and I was nervous about what they'd think. And then also, I love my parents and my friends from home, but I am very compelled by the idea of starting brand new.
Yeah.
And that felt a little too close to home.
Yeah.
Or at least going somewhere else where I can learn new perspectives and experiences and cities. So I was actually kind of hoping they wouldn't assign me there, and I think I think it was too good of a fit.
Yeah,
So.
So I don't work for TFA, but I have a fair few friends who do, and they often talk about closing the loop, having students who previously had TFA teachers go through college, do TFA, and then come back and work in the same schools. And one of my open questions is always this might be what you think the world needs, but do the people who you're asking to come back want that as well? Open question mark. And sometimes they can rarely, they can rarely answer me. And so, what you're saying is.
I think timing plays into it too. I understand the idea of closing the loop, but I don't know if that fits the mindset of a 22-year-old out of college.
Yeah, yeah. And in your mind, what do you think it is? Is it that you're looking for something new, some adventures? Or are you looking for just that doing something different is what you're after? You want to keep on. Is it an adventure thing? Is it a development thing? What is it?
I think it's a little bit of an adventure thing, definitely a development thing, because I think a lot of people picture that when they're young and first out of college, that's their chance to go off and experience new things so that they can grow. And then later in life, when you're done doing that and you settle down, sometimes people will come back home or to a more family-oriented community.
Yeah.
Because it's harder to explore new things and experiences when you're older and have a steady job and have a family of your own.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe it's those associations with it, because I think a lot of people, especially people who, do go to have the opportunity to go to a university that gives them the chance to explore new and exciting things, really buy into that idea of trying to do new things and something that can help your development before it's too late.
Yeah.
Before you run out of time to still be young and experiencing something different. Or a place that's different.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. Entirely. Changing tracks a little. Did you ever look up any other teacher education programs or education-specific organizations to work for?
Oh, I don't think so. I think the closest thing was I wanted to be I wanted a higher communications role at a startup that was working with an education app that would kind of help bridge the knowledge gap for some communities when it comes to having access to college and college applications.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at something like that. I wanted to work on their marketing and their messaging and create something that makes people care about it. But I didn't look at any teacher-based roles for anything else. No.
Okay. So changing track again. Thank you for answering that one. That was actually no. Before. No. I'm changing track a little bit. You mentioned that you were working for a college athletes, going to the classroom, working working in schools. Were you doing anything else like that throughout college? Like,
I guess, I worked for the student disability services, like proctoring exams, so I guess that's pretty different. So I was trying to help create an exam setting that was fit for those who needed certain circumstances. But that was the main program when it came to, younger schools that were community-based.
yeah.
And I learned a lot from it, which is that, and I guess this is aligned with TFA's thinking. So we made a lot of videos that was sent to classrooms about topics like community or respect or healthy living, goal setting. And then we would visit the classroom a few times, like every couple months or so. And I remember I had made this video on healthy living. That, to be fair, I was a little busy and it was a little phoned in.
Yeah.
I talked about basic food groups and, making sure you eat these things each day or exercise this amount or drink this much water. And then I got to the school, because it was a middle school. When I physically got there, I learned that most students are on free or reduced lunch, and they don't have those kind of foods at home. So their parents give them barely enough money to get hot Cheetos out of the vending machine because that's affordable, and they're not the ones grocery shopping.
Yeah.
So I felt a little silly. I needed to physically be in the classroom to see and understand before I was going to try and, create a healthy living change, understand the circumstances that they're operating within.
Oh.
So that made me more inclined towards TFA.
Yeah.
That idea of, that assuming from afar won't necessarily be helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. Did anyone, and what drove you to do this sort of work? Like, what compelled you to kind of engage in this sort of extracurricular activity?
I was in a student athletic advisory committee, and a teammate a year ahead of me did it. And she knew I really liked video and kids because of my mom's business. And she recommended it to me. But I also wanted to do it because I was one of the few people at Penn that did come from a large public school in the HIC system that wasn't necessarily the same environment of the prep schools and private schools that a lot of my classmates were from.
Yeah.
And I like the idea that this program is saying that those schools should have the same, if not more, exposure to what is attainable for them, and the tools that they need to frankly make it out of those communities.
Yeah.
Ideally, you'd want to foster those ideas within the community and strengthen them, but really a lot of those kids are just trying to find a figure that tells them they can graduate.
Yeah.
And they want to graduate because they want to go somewhere else. At least a few of them were telling me that.
Yeah.
And a lot of them wanted esports to do it, so we talked about that a little bit, but also that grades are completely entangled with a sports scholarship too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, I'm kind of rambling, but I guess I related to it. I'm not saying I was in a community that they were in, like I still had plenty of opportunity and plenty of privilege